The Tucson Children's Project has been committed since 2000 to bring scholars and people from Reggio, people who are inspired by Reggio, to the Tucson, Southern Arizona area to increase the depth of knowledge and understanding about this approach, which is not a curriculum, it's not a method, it's not a technique. It's an approach that is inspirational, and it really calls on all of us to become creative, to tap into our knowledge of what education is about.
Creative thinking matters just as much as critical thinking. If we don't develop the creativity and innovation, then we're not going to go outside the box.
The thing I like most about the Reggio Emilia approach is that it works with people's potential. A lot of their projects are based on what's going on in the lives of the children, things that children are interested in pursuing. That makes it a really powerful way for children to learn. Learning is about thinking, problem solving, collaborating, experimenting, exploring, making connections with the world, making connections with nature, and this approach promotes that. Learning isn't going to be about what I want the children to learn and be covered. Learning is going to be about what we can uncover together based on what children are interested in pursuing. You just get so much more mileage out of it, the learning process, when you connect to their interests. And they have so many interests if you're listening and if you're observing.
The children want to learn once they are listened to and respected. There is not a manual for really reconstructing the ideas of Reggio, but there are strategies. Listening is a strategy. Documentation is a complex strategy. It is a process of constructing observation. A beautiful space organized in a way there is light and there is a possibility of finding materials, possibility of being together, of being listened to by teachers. All these elements are the secret for success. They feel so good about themselves that the learning is inevitable and it is done with pleasure. What the Tucson Children's Project has done is really to construct on the ideas of Reggio, because they organized so many conferences and brought here so many people who are very well prepared in the Reggio Emilia approach to speak. So I think it's an ideal situation of also being connected with schools, with parents, and with many, many children.
The Tucson Children's Project really came about in conversations between myself and Pauline Baker and Teresa Acevedo. We realized that we had this common interest in the Reggio approach, and we brought people together. Let's do a seminar, let's open our doors, let's invite Leila Gandini, and over time, we created this movement throughout Southern Arizona that brought some attention to the Reggio approach.
The Reggio philosophy looks at parents as integral. They don't say, you need this, the parent needs this. It's a co-thinking together, and it's a co-planning together. That's the intent of Head Start. When the No Child Left Behind Act started to permeate our education system, it really started looking at the deficit more, at the need, the needy, the low income, the children that don't have initiative, which is really deficit view of children. I think the principles of Reggio is bridging that to bring the equality that everybody has: intelligence, curiosity, love of learning.
I remember my first year sharing with a dad about what this approach was about, and he looked at me and he said, you know, if I had experienced an education like that, I think my life would have been very different. And we know it would be. We know that the doors that we can open and the bridges that we can create for many of these children is why we do this. It is truly what we all want schools to be, and what we know is best for children.
So we come to the meeting and we study the Reggio approach. And you get very inspired by, oh, we could try that, we could do this. And then the reality is you go back to your programs and there are set curriculum, there are standards, there are testing and assessments, and you begin the pushback yourself as a teacher. I know that that's not the right way I know that they're not picking it up. So you yourself become a little politicized. We all have pushed back in various ways to various degrees to recreate the educational experience for children. It's taking those risks as an educator that bring the whole social context into the classroom. We've become social activists in our profession.
You have to stand up for what you believe. One way that Reggio really gives us a voice to do this is with documentation, because we can show what the children are learning, which then you take to your administrator and show how much deeper the learning is than what is required by high-stakes testing.
And that's what the Tucson Children's Project really is all about, bringing us together, energizing us, inspiring us with our own study and our own struggles and strategies, and sends us back out to work a little bit more, and then we come back and organize a conference or a seminar and share what we've learned.